we had to be here to ensure that we celebrate our 70th anniversary with you and also to honor you. Our reason for being here is to really honor you for carrying the mantle all across the oceans to ensure that Barbados is represented the way that it should. And I know for sure that everybody here, all Barbadians, we are proud Barbadians. And I just want you to say that I'm a proud Barbadian. I'm a proud Barbadian. Because that is important. Our legacy has had a very long history, not only in terms of people empowerment, but in terms of governance and important governments in our society. For this year's 70th anniversary, we focus primarily on honoring our legacy and embracing our future. And many times when we think about the Democratic Labour Party, we remember where it started and our foreparents that took the mantle and took us where we are today. And for every single day, we have to remind our children, our grandchildren, the works that our forefathers and foreparents did, and what we have done in our own little ways as we travel the oceans. So we honor you for being here to keep our legacy, to keep our culture alive. One of the things I was very happy to see is that we had sounds for lunch. And coming from very far and to enjoy sounds and be here and to embrace that culture is something that is almost innate to us. One of the things that we have to remember is the works that has been done by the Democratic Labour Party. I know in the past few years, we have heard much of the debates and discussions about the Democratic Labour Party as a political organization. But we must be reminded that the Democratic Labour Party is a people's movement. It is the people that drive the party. It is the people that set the foundation for the country that we are heading forward and what we will leave behind for our children. And it's because of that movement, this is why we are here today. It is because of that movement that we have been here for 70 years. It is because of our strength that took us where we have, and most importantly, our faith. Our faith in God has taken us where we are today. And we have seen in our country a slight concern here and there. I'm responsible for education, and my role is really to represent the legacy that the late Errol Barrow left for us when it comes to education. And many of us have known how education has touched our lives. And I know I speak with an accent because I was born in St. Lucia. So people ask, so Felicia, why the Democratic Labour Party? Well, first of all, it's the best party. That's one of the things. It's one of the best parties that has carried our country. But also because of the Democratic Labour Party's vision, I was able to go to school at the University of the West Indies, which is one of the legacies and the visions of our founding fathers. Without that vision for education, I do not know where many of us would be here today. It was Errol Barrow who gave every Barbadian the right to free education. And we need to clap for that. We could never forget the impact that education has made and transformed not only our individual lives, but our societal lives as well. The statehood, our nationality, how we represent ourselves as Barbadians. And because and through education, we were able to empower not only ourselves, our communities, and our country. It was Errol Barrow who moved us from a village to a state. And we have to remember and remind the younger generation of that legacy, the legacy that will continue to carry us where we go. In terms of education, it also allowed us to have freedom of thought and expression, freedom to participate in elective politics. And sometimes we ask the question, why do we get into politics? And it's always that question, why we must encourage young person to be politically active so that they understand how policies, laws, and legislations affect their lives. They have to understand what political parties, what makes a political party, and the mandate of a political party. Yes, we love the canvassing and the political rhetoric. We love that. But what is very important is how we frame and draft laws, legislations, policies that will mold and guide and empower our people. This is why the Democratic Labour Party has been here for 70 years. It is a movement. It is a movement of a people. It is the movement of the working class. This is what separates us from other parties. This is why we're one of the best, if not the only party in Barbados, because of the work that we do. And regardless of where we are in the country, whether we are the governing party or the opposition, we continue to work on behalf of the people. It's unfortunate that our political leader is not here with us today, but he had to be in Barbados yesterday because there was a legislation that would have been passed or is hoping to be passed, which is called the wiretapping bill. And we've seen quite a lot of what has been happening where there's that eminent infringement on the rights, the basic rights of citizens. So our political leader had to stay to defend not only the rights of Barbadians in Barbados, but also your rights in the diaspora. Because you will visit, your family is still at home. And so we have to do what it is right to advocate and to agitate, but also to uphold and uplift the civic rights of our citizens. And so we are here today with my colleague to ensure that we continue to honor you, the work that you've been doing, that every work and every struggle, and as you contribute to your host country, that we want to see that we are very proud of you. And we honor you not only through our centenary anniversary and celebration, but we honor the work that you have continued to be here to represent all Barbadians. Why? Because what does our national pledge say? I pledge allegiance. No. I pledge allegiance and to uphold, and by my leaving, wherever okay, so I'm going to leave a little booklet with the so that the next time we remember it. Don't forget, our legacy is who we are, and we keep it dear to our hearts. Thank you very much, and thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for that. I really learned a lot from your speech, and I'm so glad and so honoured that you were here today with us because you're enriching our lives just being here. I know for me, you're giving me more education on what Barbados has achieved, because I did wonder how they remained in office for 70 years. That takes some kind of special party, right? So thank you so much for that. Thank you. Okay, we have Senator Andre. Yeah, Andre Wells, President DLP. Can we give Andre a thank you, Andre.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Good afternoon.
And it is indeed a pleasure for me to be here with you. I want to thank the Honorable Lambos, Cheryl Lambos, MP, for joining us here this evening. And for all of you Barbadians living in the diaspora, particularly the UK, for taking the time to come here with us this afternoon. I want to extend special thanks and congratulations to the President of the DLP UK branch, Mr. Anderson Connell, and his team, including people like Andrew Reid, for organizing a lovely event here today for us to take part in and to pay tribute to the 70th anniversary of the Democratic Labour Party. The Democratic Labour Party was formed in 1955, and then a few years after that, in 1961, we became the government of Barbados. The government of Barbados, led by the Right Excellent Earl Walton Barrow, who took the bold decision to take Barbados into independence in 1966. And as my comrade Felicia was mentioned, all of the platform and the foundation for Barbados was developed through that administration. You had education, you had things like the national insurance, which many of you benefited from, because I had a conversation just before I came in with someone who said, well, even though we live in the diaspora, for the most part, our education possibly came through Barbados. And that is something that you always look forward to, and that keeps that rich connection with persons living in the UK to Barbados. And I know many of you love it. You love going back for the sea to get your cocoa and flying fish if you're lucky. I understand that we have some put in our sauce here today, all of those wonderful Barbadian dishes, and just to be in the country, to relax with your friends and family, go to the beaches that you love. Probably it will be Pebbles. For me, mine is Browns Beach, even fabulous beach. I'm from St. John. Before it was Bath, but because of the sargassum seaweed, which is affecting all of the Caribbean, it has changed that. So now I trek to Browns Beach, which one of the most beautiful beaches in Barbados. But you love those things. And then the Crop Over Festival. For Felicia and I, because the festival would have ended on Monday, and it was a bit difficult for us to get flights to come here directly, so we had to go through New York then to come here. So obviously we had a good Crop Over Festival. But for me, I want to thank you all for coming here. I know that you are eager to know what is happening in Barbados, and you're always interested in news of Barbados. And that is why the Democratic Labour Party, we continue to keep our flag flying as the opposition party at this time. We've held government for a number of years. Now we're in opposition, but as the way how politics goes, I'm certain the MP with the Labour Party would be able to tell you that the same situation occurs here in the UK. But even in opposition, you still have a job to do in terms of representation of the people and making sure that the country remains on a steady keel. And oftentimes, when the Democratic Labour Party is in government, we put those forward-thinking legislation and policies in place, and that will always be part of the hallmark and the legacy of the Democratic Labour Party. And I'm certain that many of you, when you return to your country, you want to make sure that certain things are still in place, like that warm and friendly nature that Barbadians are known for all across the world. I think that that is probably why this UK market is one of our largest tourist markets, and you have a number of repeat visitors because they love the hospitality of Barbadians. That's something that we should be proud of and something that we should maintain as a country. And also the peaceful nature of the country. Yes, like anywhere else, we go through some challenges. I'm pleased to report that the Democratic Labour Party just recently published a commission on crime. We had a commission on crime which did a report looking at the causes of crime in Barbados and also solutions and recommendations. A commission which was led by our former president, Verla de Pisa. I had the honors to sit on the commission as well as one of the commissioners. And we would have just released just before Crop Over our report, and we made it available. It is our intention to present a copy to all of the stakeholders and make sure that that report is available in all of the schools, because it looked at the family, it looked at the community, it looked at the church, and it also looked at the state's responsibility in maintaining a peaceful society. And that just shows that the Democratic Labour Party is still out there functioning and doing our work, even in opposition, as any political party which cares about its country and its people will continue to do. As our comrade Felicia mentioned and Anderson, it is unfortunate that our political leader, Ralph Thorne, is not able to be here today. But as we were making our plans, well, the plans were already made to come here, we got the news that the House would be recalled on Friday to deal with 4 major pieces of legislation, all dealing with crime. One is the intersection of communication, which would known to you more so as wiretapping, and also amendments to the Police Service Act. So being the only voice in the lower house, it was important for him to be there to present the position from the opposition, but he still consented to actually making a presentation to you here today via Zoom, which Anderson will facilitate so that you can hear from the political leader and hear a little bit more about what is going on. All across the world, people are grappling with cost of living. So we face those challenges as well. All across the world, people are grappling with employment numbers. Even in the US, a couple of days ago, the employment numbers were less than what the president had expected. So we do face those challenges as well. And we look for you, the persons in the diaspora, to help us with your ideas and your recommendations, because in some cases, there's a little lag between the development in Barbados to the UK. So you've already gone through some of that stage already. So maybe with your experience, you can help us to avoid some of the pitfalls that will come along the way as you develop. That is why we keep and want to maintain that relationships with Barbadians living in the diaspora, because I know many of you want to return to retire, or you want to return just for your holiday, and you still have family there that you care about and you support and you reach out to. And it is all about making the best for our country that we love, and so that we can continue to contribute to the development on the world stage as well. Barrow had a phrase that he said, friends of all, satellites of none, which meant that in terms of our contribution to development on the world stage, we were always there, even from the days of apartheid. We had a role to play when the apartheid was going on in South Africa. So we reached not only just the UK, but also Africa and all over the world, that we, even as a small country, we do make a mark in terms of global development and policy, especially when it impacts on the lives of people. And we do the same in Barbados. So I want to thank you all, and I'm looking forward to getting out to viewing the stalls and taking part, getting some of the sorrel, and whatever treats that you have there. I do know that there's a raffle which Anderson will tell you about a little bit later that you can participate in. And we do have some information about the Democratic Labour Party at the table at the back. So after the formalities, we can have a conversation at the table, and I'm willing to give you more information if there's anything in particular that you want to know about what is happening in Barbados, or what are the plans for the Democratic Labour Party going forward. I will be more than delighted to share that information with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Before you take the seat, we'd just like to ask, is there any questions? You've given us such an informative speech. Thank you so much. But if there's any questions about going forward with Barbados, or anything you feel, you can be free to answer now. Is anything you'd like to say? Okay. You got let me walk.
I can come this way. Yeah, as Andrew from the CFG, but I'm a frequent traveler to Barbados recently. But for me as an overseas person, is anything that DOP are offering, or any policies for people living in abroad that you're thinking of that would benefit people abroad, that how we can get involved in their sponsor you, you know? Is anything like that that you're working on, and policies and procedures? Now I'm a traveler, so if I come to stay in Barbados, I want to know I'm looked after in some form of way, isn't it? So my health, and which is one of the main things. So let us know.
Well, okay, well, to let you know specifically about the Democratic Labour Party, one of the things that we are hoping is that some of you here will have an interest in joining the party and working with the diaspora branch here with Mr. Connell. So we do have those membership forms there. And in terms of, I know that this is something we did town hall meeting in New York a few weeks ago in July, one of the first questions asked, will Barbadians be allowed to, from the diaspora, be allowed to vote in Barbados? And I know that, and before I left, it was actually on brass stats, the topic being discussed. Those, you know about brass stats in Barbados, right? Of course. Brass stats is a call-in program on the radio, happens every day, Monday to Friday, and on Sunday to Friday. Right, so it was part of the conversation. Someone did call and ask about persons from the diaspora being able to vote. When we were in office, we in government, we had every 2 years the diaspora conference, which was part of the policy of our late Prime Minister David Thompson, because he recognized the importance of the diaspora to the development of Barbados. And he wanted that relationship to go beyond sending in barrels or remittances, and recognize the importance of persons living within the diaspora to also contribute to the national and political development. I believe that with the continuation of those conferences, they were ended when the current administration came in, we would have solved that problem already within Barbados. And I do believe that persons living within the diaspora, because many of you return as returning nationals, you probably maintain your residences in the UK, overseas, and spend 3 to 6 months in Barbados. So at some point in time, you spend a number of your days in Barbados. That as long as you have a strong connection to the country, currently our electoral system, in order to vote, you have to be in the country during the election in order to vote. But as many of you that have the Barbados ID card, you would automatically be on the voters list. And anytime that you're in Barbados, you will just have to go into the electorals and boundaries to make sure that your name is registered on the list. But for now, as it stands, if the election is called next year and you're not in Barbados, you unfortunately would not be able to vote because we don't allow voting overseas. But if you're in Barbados and your name is on the list, you'll be able to vote. I do think that that conversation needs to continue, and we need to develop it, and we need to get to that stage where you will be able to have a more active participation. You asked specifically about healthcare. Healthcare, one of the good things about Barbados is that we have universal healthcare. So regardless of who you are, if you come into, and you are Barbadian, your healthcare is definitely taken care of. But there's some work that needs to be done. Education as well, as long as you are a Barbadian, your education is free from tertiary, from primary up to tertiary level, even from kindergarten. So all of those things are still maintained within the country. Those of you who had the opportunity to work in Barbados for 10 years and pay national insurance, you can possibly still claim an NIS benefit as well if you have enough contributions. All of those things are there. But we also would like to see the members from the diaspora get a more active role in terms of the economic development of the country. Don't just come back and spend your money and patronize restaurants, bars, and hotels. But can you make linkages with your family there that you can establish business and start the process of wealth generation within the country? And also look at the opportunity, which I'm hoping that through this program, it will be a continuation, so that next year, when we have more time, because the planning, when we have a year to plan, that we can come back with some vendors from Barbados who will be out there, and we will be selling Barbadian products as well. And we will have that exchange between goods developed in the UK and goods developed in Barbados, so that I'm certain that some of you still would love to get your black cakes for Christmas, your Beijing rum cakes. If it was possible to get the sweet bread here hot straight off the plane, you could bite into that as well. Things like the sugar cakes and the tambourine balls, you can get those here. and you can get those into the market. So we need to develop more of those things. The condiments like the hot sauce and all of those things. There's more than one hot sauce vendor in Barbados, so we need to find a way to pack Tesco's with hot sauce brands from more than one hot sauce brand from Barbados. So we are moving beyond the sugar, the brown sugar. So we're going into, and this is how you in the diaspora can help by working with your family there to develop those businesses and begin in that export of things from Barbados. And then on the other end as well, you're the best promoters for Barbados in terms of the travel market. So why not every year throughout the year, you bring down groups of persons from the UK, from France, from all over Europe for holidays in Barbados. So not just Jet2 holidays, but maybe you can come up with your own holiday package to bring persons to Barbados, not just for crop over, but after crop over, we have NIFCA, which is a little less promoted. And I'm happy to see that we have the Black Art production for theater. So maybe that's a linkage as well. For NIFCA, we can have performances by the Black Art production in Barbados and inviting groups from Barbados to come and take part here. I know that currently there is a Barbados choir who has been touring the UK for the entire month of June. So more of those linkages, those are things that we would love to see happening.
That's wonderful. Thank you say that. Yeah, I'm so glad. I'm actually with BAP, and it's been wonderful. It really has, in terms of my vision accent. They always want me to do my vision accent, you know, and it's just good. It's like an acting group. So if you can act, or if you're into poetry, spoken word, whatever you're into, it would be lovely to hear it. And what's, yes.
Question is, I hope it's not putting you on the spot. Obviously, the leader of the opposition is going to speak later, but I've been following the issue of the Parliament coming back. I know it's not really something that's quite normal. It's quite unprecedented. We call Parliament recess, but I'm just trying to understand, because I was reading in the newspaper, some of you don't get the right context. What is the issue with wiretapping that the opposition is not happy with? Because obviously living in the UK, wiretapping is a part of life, unfortunately. What's the issue, so I could be a bit more informed of why the opposition doesn't like it?
All right, well, the political leadership could be on, and that will probably.
So that brief is like
brief, yeah. I'll do it briefly. Well, the issue is the political involvement in the legislation. Before we left, we had a review of the legislation. So yes, wiretapping is necessary to fight crime, but how is it done? What we have proposed is that in order to get wiretapping, it should go beyond a justice piece, and the warrant should be signed by a judge. That is in the legislation. What we are concerned about is the commission who monitors that, which is put in place by the minister, and it did not outline who the minister is. And we believe something as important as that it could be done by the president taking away the political agenda. And there's also a portion in it which says that you don't necessarily need a warrant for some wiretapping. So that is mischievous as well. So we just want, because when you have wiretap, when the police utilize wiretapping, it goes towards court cases or to charge an individual. And you have the protection of privacy. So you want to make sure that they're not listening on conversations which should not be there, and someone is not keeping that information. Those things have not been fully explained. There's so much political involvement in choosing the commissioners. Only one is a retired judge, but the other two persons are left open, so that could be a little better defined. So possibly the political leader, when he makes his contribution, he will speak a little bit more about it. But it is not that we are against the process of wiretapping, because it is necessary. And you may not know, because of your distance, there was a scandal back in 2013 where certain phones in Barbados were being tapped without the persons knowing. And that is where the issue is. In fact, many Barbadians believe right now that their phones are being tapped in any case. So that is obviously an issue. So that is something that we can speak a little bit more about later.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah, I'd start to address the issue of citizenship. So if we could take a scenario, maybe if someone's born in England of Barbadian parents, he's now sort of married and he has children. Can they get citizenship, and can he also apply for citizenship? Well, that's the two main things, yeah? So your parents are
The answer is yes to both.
yes?
Yes.
And what's the procedure for that?
But you can apply through the consulate, the High Commission here, or anytime that you are in Barbados, you can apply for the citizenship. As long as you are a descendant of Barbados, at first it was done through the father, but I believe that it has been changed to both. You can apply for the citizenship.
And how far back we going? Grandparents, great-grandparents?
You can go, right, but once the council, the High Commission here is well aware of the procedure, so you just need to go into them, let them know that you are a descendant of Barbados and you're interested in obtaining citizenship, and that process will be facilitated. So you'll be able to get your ID card, you can get passports, all of those things.
Everyone's going to be happy here today. A rough cost, average, just roughly.
Can't give you that information off your head, but you can share some information with us and I can have it.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, right now.
Really good question. I think we have a question.
Can make it a long question, then we'll go for a break. Yes,
Yes, really welcome to London. But one of the questions I want to ask the panel, because to me, I'm a little concerned about what strategically is the DLP doing to win back power? That's one of the questions quickly. And then what impact is the US under Trump is having on Barbados? Thank you.
Very good.
My colleague and I will answer both questions. I will answer the first question for you in terms of our position as the opposition party. One of the things that we have done is to designate persons on the different areas. As I said before, we have persons that deal with health. We have spokesperson who speak on education and culture and agriculture and all the other ministries. So we have spokespersons that actually have committees that do the research so that we can respond not only to the government, but also to the public. We have both the opposition office and the Democratic Labour Party's office as well, where we work from both offices. What it does is actually allow the public to come to us or call us so that we can agitate and also to respond to the government based upon the issues that have been raised. So for instance, in cases of education, what we have been doing is to ensure that the government does not infringe on the rights, whether it's students, parental rights. Reviewing legislation is very important. I think sometimes when we say in opposition, we tend not to remember that the opposition still have a responsibility and role to review legislation, whether especially if it's a legislation or a bill that will impact the infringement of the basic rights of citizens. And I think that's one of the things that we do. Now, your question in terms of regaining power is always left into the hands of the electorate. We just had a by-election and we understood what that means. The reality is that we have a lot of voter apathy. So people seem a little bit disillusioned when it comes to elective politics right now, again, because of what is happening. But the Barbados Democratic Labour Party has continued to position itself to respond to the challenges, the concerns, and to be, in the most simplest form, be the voice of the people. And that's what we have been doing in various forms, whether we do it in Parliament or whether we do it through town hall meetings, whether we've done it in, just going and canvassing, because what is very important is that we have been going to the communities, going to the constituencies and speaking one-to-one with citizens. And I think that is very important, that we need to hear the voices of the people. It's not only about winning an election, but about representing the interests of the people. We also have our candidates in place, and we will be having our party convention very soon, and we're hoping that we can have some new members today. So our party convention, one of the things that will happen is that we will be discussing our candidates, and I think that is again in preparation for election. So our candidates have already been positions in their constituencies. We only have, I think, about 7 remaining. We have our political leader, we have our executive members, we have our general counsel. So there's a number of work that is being done. But of course, you may not see it or you may not hear about it, but the Democratic Labour Party has been working continuously as a strong opposition. But the emphasis is not being a strong opposition, but to regain governance of the country. To the second part of your question, I'd allow my colleague to answer that question.
Oh, no, the second part of the question was about the trade and the tariffs, correct? Yes, the impact that it will have on Barbados as with the rest of the world, because there was a little bit of uncertainty when it was first introduced. A lot of our imports come through the US. So what some persons have done is to start look at alternative routes. And when we were discussing this actual event, that is the basis of taking it, because we recognize that the UK could possibly be an alternative route, because we do order a lot of things from China. And if those items pass through the US, it would obviously be a difficulty for us in terms of the prices. What we would have to do as well is that we can't just depend on imports, but we also need to develop our own manufacturing, because it also impacts on the food imports as well. So manufacturing and agriculture. And another side of it as well, because there's a downturn in the US economy, which is our second source market, also in Canada as well. So it can have an impact on our tourism as a result of that, because if you have very little to spend, because you're seeing increases in prices within the US, changes in the output within the US, it means that you'll probably travel less. So destinations like Barbados will not be so high on your agenda. So it does have implications to impact on us all around, directly and indirectly. But as a country, we need to forge our way out and look at alternative routes. Definitely, I've seen in Barbados, we get more food products from the UK. So I'm hoping Mr. Sherlambos will hear this and recognize that the Barbados and the Democratic Labour Party, we are promoting linkages with the UK as a way of getting around that particular challenge and as a way of helping our people to maintain the prices and cost of living as well. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, so we will take a break, and you're available to ask more questions, aren't you? Well, yeah, that's great. As I was saying quickly, that we've got that productions, performances, and you know all have a story to tell. You came over, some of you came over to this country. You didn't know what this country was going to be like. You didn't know how cold it was going to be. It looked like you was handed a brochure of Devon, and you thought that that's what you was going to find. And you came over to smog, and you couldn't even see your own hands. And I just think that's so wonderful and so amazing, and how strong you are that you just didn't run back, to your mums and your dads and what you knew in the beach. And that always amazes me, how you still fought, and you fought through everything, the racism, the challenges, where to live. Some of you had to share with other people, and you've done so well, and you've been so successful through that. but it always touches me when I hear your stories. I do acts that's, you know, of stories that I've heard, but please remember that you all have a story and don't let that story die. Yeah, give it to us. We need it. We need to act. We need to hear your spoken word, your poems, things like that. It's amazing for us to learn. So please don't let it die. Give it to us. You know, come to us, tell us your stories. We'd be happy to hear them and even act them out if we can, or even yourselves act them out. That'd be great, even better. So now we're going to take a break. This small I hope. Sorrel. I hope it hasn't got alcohol in the sorrel. Yeah, half an hour break. Okay, please get something to eat and just enjoy yourselves, mingle, talk to each other, and not too much rum punch, okay? Okay, and then we will have our speaker, Honourable Ralph Thorne, KCMT, will be joining us when we come back. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you.
You make sure another one is off, please. Yeah. Yeah. He just called me. Yeah. Free. Free state. Yeah. Is there the part that have? I told that out from you when you didn't play the rule. Yeah, that's. What are we looking to off the place? Yeah. I can put your contact. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, you bring up before we. Yeah. Put my down to the full, yeah. Come up here. You bring. Whatever. Yeah. Donation. Yeah. Yeah, you got to go far away with the and then you started yeah, what I'm saying is, if you record, yeah, if I had a record, yes, no, like she was to come in. Just right here. They're great. They're great. Well, I think we'll get right first of all. Yeah.
Then you better come again. Better night should be shared. That you only what you're not doing. What? What more is it you're talking? You have to check yourself. I'm going to check your head. That's a part of the life. You have to get to the side. So I'm well, I'm the rest of you. I'm the rest of you. Well, I'm the for the 80s over. Another one and then you just not you were do not me I know understand. Just not you were question. You said one so sad. You have to check yourself and go on, check your health. That's all right. Don't pick up your things on fire. So I'm moving them inside. You put something back. Hey, single body of beds, I come again. You better recognize it should be shared. Since you talking, you have to check yourself and go on, check your health. That's a all of our right to pick up your things outside. So I'm moving and it's like you know that. Well, I'm for the 80s stands over another and then you smiling just not you do not take me like no one else can. Just not you come and keep that one so sad. You have to check yourself and go on, check your health. That's a all right. Don't think I can do the time. Don't lose it every time you put on your back. And all your friends voting. I know that you family too. While I'm waiting down and I'm because that I was sorry, you're number one and only. You do the wrong thing to mess with TC. Just when that's what you why you like to hand. Do not take me like no one else can. That's when that's what school you were asking for a stand. You gonna make you shut on the school stand. We tested. What foolishness you talking? You better check yourself and you want to check your health. Better call a line. Don't pick up your things outside. So if I'm moving inside, you like to buy. What foolishness you talking? You better check yourself and go on check your health. Better call a line. Don't pick up your things outside. So if I'm moving inside, you like to buy. You are coming for years. I just got to leave what's here. I then get sick of they need. Give it up, somebody. See if you can take it for a ride. When I put in things outside. When from me living on phone, what is it? All time. Just when I don't want you to relax, let's get you come in and say, what are you talking about? Keep talking. Yes, check yourself. I'm going to check your head. That's a part of our plan. Got things outside. No one anybody that I can't believe years. I can't believe what's here. Maybe it's because maybe it's him and somebody. See if he can take it for a night. Well, I think once he takes outside, I'm really going begging on the one. Here on the day. All the time. It's all the lips that let's see. No, I can't That's not watching. One calm down. Unemployment high, and the treasury low, and the buying soldier on the feet of down trigger, happy results. I see them what to feel? What's the problem? What risks to get up that happens? It was a loaded fruit to intentions. Tell me, there's no please send run in the hand, in the sun. Well, I'm not necessarily back to my room. Yeah, some bullets. I need to talk down trigger. I be free from sizes and bullets. Some bullets. But in the what I do, but to see, and you, I was someone, all into it, and some that's all just we are hoping to feed the army. So many children are naked and hungry. We are hoping to feed the buses. When the soldier army growing so massive. And me, just on he give it down for square meters. Some of them so fast, they will hardly run, and these two people that with other party got rid of them. Some bullets, and he beat up young trigger, happy people, sexy them. Some bullets. Not like that. What I do, what to see, me and you, what's the I'm so it's done. Box it round. Then we can't take this on. Every go, box it round. And every day you open the paper, after we finish the done, and hope that you can speak. We're not going to make it. Wrong. What the hell? I'm doing what today.
When you come, it's right. Just on the church, on the six, I hear God Lord, I learn my lesson. You can't again. But I'm more that's right. My way, I see it again. I need it. You gave back around, I give up, and You play it, yeah, I going for you, when this you want to do, no more is crazy.
Tika, get away and they cause me hot. Somebody keep Tika, get away and they running hot. Yo, this is Mr. Blood and I'm bigging up DJ Tony. Them songs, 246, the Lord in charge. Take my key. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Were you ever stick by a team? We have to be a 1.3. But I don't walk on it in a model of factory. I don't walk on the why did this one is some of the what's something what I did? I better get them out. No one in this country and so keep up I want I am not that key. I took All I do is think and that Jerry is out here. Louis is out here. So and everybody.
Find the way back. Barbados. Big shadows of Barbados. Big 246 on the UK. Big year short. It's that. That's a big party in the street that. Yo, big Eric for Barbados. Big of Steve, big show, 246 out of the UC, baby. What's that next game?
Just wait until me. And you can put something. You can some not ready. Yeah, this is what you know. This is something you come on, the bones, it's funny when you restrain from the lot of I get so bad, strong. Yeah, but we get let me stop you. Our responsibility and they must have to that job. Like really, people like so it's me unbelievable, me unbelievable. I can get somebody. So it's much like some so that they don't have this is too much like some make us look at this. This way only this is the one they hope is beginning.
Okay, we're going to be gathering back in the next few minutes. We're looking to start that on for the next 6 o'clock. So please, be patient with us and going to get going in the next 5 minutes, the last 5.5. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
And I'm trying to do what they know what you mean, but I know I'm not fixing this. This is too much fight. So let's make us
Yeah.